Thanks for watching my video. I want to show you the 3 apps I have created. They are all one system, but 3 separate apps. My wife owns a beauty salon, and we was using an app called Square to manage the salon. It just wasn't meeting our requirements. So as a developer, primarily for Swift and iOS, I came across Flutter this year and went to work learning as much as I could about it and taking classes on Flutter and just love it now. And I was able to, this is production right now. We use these apps regularly since May at the salon. So a lot of changes I'm always making, but very nice. Flutter Flow just made this so easy for me to be able to do. So I'm gonna go through the apps with you, for you can kind of get an idea of what's created here. Furthermore, I have the Flutter Flow app up also, as I'll show you some of the functionality that I put into these apps too. So we'll just start off with the customer app. The customer app is a login page here, where they can either log in or sign up. Also the forget password. So on the sign up form here, it's the typical sign up that we'll go through, but we do have functionality here to try to make the sign up process where we can filter out clients that do not put the correct information in, and things of that nature. But let's go through this. So this is the beginning sign up process. So before I click submit, I'm going to also show you what's going to happen when you sign up here. So I do have the form. That first thing it's going to do is I create the form to validate everything. The phone number will be validated using regex that I created to make sure it's in the proper format. And then also we will be doing making sure that the phone number is not already in use. So one of the functions I have here is check phone number function. So it's going to query the customer's database, and then if that phone number is already in there, it's going to return true or false for me here, so that condition would allow me to continue or not. I should say the customer to continue. If it is true, then we're going to create the account in Google. Now Google automatically checks if the phone number, if the email is already valid, so I didn't have to do that. Then we're going to send out the first chat message to the new customer, so they will have that. We're going to update the back end here with a balloon that I set for first login, so I can know if they have logged in already into the app, and then the chat reference, we set that once we create this. So this is a function I said it show too. So this function here is creating the first chat message. So it'll tell them welcome to the brow bar, and then from there it will create the fields that is needed using the chat message that Flutter Flow have implemented here. So I'm just creating a custom chat from there, but making it with the custom code. That way I can have that chat reference to be able to add to that user's profile once I'm done. So then from there we're going to do a couple of waivers. One is going to be a HTML page that's going to pop up to show from the website the importance of filling out the information correctly, and then the actual waiver itself. And then from there we'll start go through the rest. So those are the steps that's going to happen here. So you'll see all that when the account is created. So here is the box we are talking about that's going to pop up. So again, that's here with That's a component that's being popped up here. So it's a chat, the component with the well-view placeholder. So that's what they're seeing here. So they have to hit continue once they read through that. And now the waiver we spoke about. So the waiver is actually, they're gonna have to click the box here to accept that they understand these conditions. And then they have to hit yes or no. Based off if they hit yes or no, I'm gonna show you the next function that will actually not show them certain categories that if they, based off of what they select here, right? So this also helps me see if they actually read it, because lawsuits are very prevalent for especially this industry. So we want to make sure that we can actually prove that they check boxes that that they said that they was able to have these different services, so that we won't have a lawsuit, because it happens more than you would imagine. So from there, I'm going to get ready and hit the submit button, but first I'm going to show you the steps that this goes through. So every one of the values we're going to be checking here, we're going to update their customer profile based off what they checked. So if they checked that these boxes true or false here, that's how it's going to be updated in their customer profile, right? And then I have another function here. We're going to do a query first. And so that query is going to be where we grabbing all of the categories. And then I'm going to export that out, category export. So once we export that out, this function here is what's going to actually return the category. So I just call it a category list. So based off of what they check on their profile is how this function is going to remove any of the categories if any of these conditions are met, so that they won't even be able to choose those categories on the next step. All right, so that's what function is going to run. So once they actually, that's going to return a JSON for me. A document reference of all the categories that they can choose, and then it's going to navigate to the category territory, passing the category list over to it. All right, so that's what you're going to see here. So I went ahead and set I already selected where I could choose everything. So here's all the categories. So from there, if I choose a category, I'm going to have another function that is going to come up. So this step is this is going to take us to the services. And after you choose a service, now we're going to have another section that's going to come up as we get more and more into this. So with the services, as you see here, we just got a next step button. Very, very simple what's going to happen here, but it's going to be another function I created called can perform. So what this is going to do is go to all the staff members and see which staff members can perform the services that were chosen by the customer. So it's going to actually go to each one of those staff members and return this JSON for me, a list JSON of all the qualified staff members. All right. All right, so once it returns a staff member that can actually perform those, then we're going to actually go to one of the biggest functions I made, and I'll actually show you that function here instead, which is get available time slots. This is like a very extensive function that I created that is going to go through, I call it the cart category, the cart collection. And when it goes through that, it's going to be looking for all of the indexes that was for each one of the collection to check to see, and the index fields inside the collection, and filter out any that will have any available time slots indexes for this new appointment, right? So it's going to make sure that we have no conflicting appointments. It's going to look at this, the different fields that I have inside of there, and then also make sure the staff member who's chosen is going to look at that too, so that all of those things are being processed here, so that we can only show the available time slots that they can choose based off of when that last index ended and before the index prior that will end the duration of the appointment. So it's going to actually see how long the appointment lasts. When I make appointments in here, I also set the appointment based off a number of indexes. So I'm using 30 minutes is one index. So that's how I'm doing that. And then it's going to return those slots here at the end once it completely goes through that process. So you kind of see how that works here. And that was nice. It doesn't take that long. I know that little pop-up comes up, but that's because I have another function that I'm running to make sure that to get available time slots, if it's a current date, it pushes it to the next day, since they cannot book a same-day appointment. So I should just also fix that. See this video, I need to know I need to put just a empty list. Turn on the empty list widget so that error won't be there. So anyway, they'll be able to, so tomorrow they'll be able to book this appointment. Now once they actually click on confirm appointments, a couple different things happen. So we have a pop-up that's gonna come up, bottom sheet. First we're gonna do this custom action, which is for I can have the confirmation come up, because I'm using how I'm making a confirmation. I was not able to use what do you call these again? My mind going blank on writing all this. Let's see. Data types. So I wasn't able to use that. So I just created this function so I can just pass what I need to pass as a JSON into the bottom sheet, so that I can have that pop up the way I had needed to. So that's the confirmation component here that's going to actually pop up. So from there, they'll be able to choose yes, that this is what I wanted. Once they hit finish, they can actually make another option to go ahead and change or confirm from there. So once they actually do that, my second biggest function is going to run at that point, which is actually going to create the appointment using the collection appointment. So it's a pretty extensive function too, that's going to go through and create all the fields that's needed for an appointment document to be created. So it's going to grab all of this information from the JSON that we sent over. We're going to be sending out the chat, SMS, text message. Also, we're going to be sending out a chat message. We're going to be creating a couple new documents as far as like in the customers sub collection for this. We can have a number of appointments that if I can see all the collection, and underneath the customer collection, we'll be able to see all the appointments that they have if I wanted to. And then we're going to have a confirmation at the end using a batch write for all of this whenever this is being created. So that's what you're going to see next. Pretty extensive, but also it makes sure that there's no other appointments that was being booked during the time that this is being done. I know I'm working on possibly locking down the time slots, giving a person a couple minutes, maybe like we see in other apps, to be able to do that. So something else I'm working on there. So once the appointment is booked, you see here that customer is taking them back to their customer profile. They can be able to see those appointments. Once they be able to see those appointments that they have, they'll be able to scroll through. This is a list of all their appointments. They can book new appointments, edit their email, edit their phone number, view the cancellation policy. But then if they want to cancel, I have another function here called can cancel. And so what this does is it's checking the lead time from the business. 48 hours is what we have it set for, but it's going to pull that lead time to see what the cancellation policy lead time is, and then it's going to check that to see if that lead time is within that 48 hours. If it's not, so we're going to have a false sent here, and this one is not, so it's going to say, please call, since the time has passed already for that appointment to be canceled. Now, if they was within that time frame, then they will be able to, it will cancel and alert them that they're canceled, got that appointment canceled. All right, so that is I think all the functions that I have some other functions in here, particularly like during the startup day, remove white space. I didn't go over, but those functions are, especially when they create their account, that's what I'm using that for, that it removes the white spaces at the beginning and end of their names and emails, so that they're not adding those extra white spaces there. So those are some of the things. Some of the other ones, I'm also using the TZ package a lot, as you see in the get available time slots, because time zones killed me, especially daylight saving time. So this saved me with that, so that all the time zones and everything is set based off the business time zone that's set inside of the business collection. So I have a field there called business time zone. So it pulls that, and so that way all the appointments and everything, regardless of where the customer is in the world, is set off of that business time zone. So just that was a great find on PubDev to be able to utilize that package. All right, so now I'm going to go through the next app. So the next app we're going to actually talk about is the walk-in manager. So the walk-in manager, bring it up here, is this app here. So what the walk-in manager is going to do is, at our salon, we have a station in the front where the customers can check if they have an appointment or they're walking in. So if they have an appointment, their names will be shown here for the appointment. So they'll just be able to click their name. So I had some dummy stuff in here just to show you. So like, for instance, once I click that name there, my name, you can see here, and this is what I'm going to talk about later, is a POS system. But a POS system is going to show you who just checked in. So it's going to show, of course, that person checked in as an appointment, who the appointment time, who the appointment is with, the service, how long ago they arrived, and then we'll get more into that later. But if they walking in, and I guess I should show you that, when we create an appointment, we creating a cart. Whenever they check in, we creating a cart, because that's what this is. It's the list of carts using the grid view. So when they check in, we're going to have where it creates that cart, create that new document using all the fields that's required for the cart document. And then it's going to do something very important, which is this function here is, I have a sub collection under each cart called lines. So the lines are for each one of the services. So for each service that's in the appointment, or when I show you later, if they choose walk-in, each one of those services will be created, customer name, service name, price, a reference to the service they chose, so we can do data on that later, and also queries on that, and also customer reference. I'm going to create all of these things for the sub collection, and then it's going to add those back to the main cart. I'm using the array union here so that we can add those lines back, and then giving back a total lines service count so that we can know how many services that customer actually have for that particular visit to the salon. So once they do that, we're going to update the document with the total lines that was given here, and then we're going to do an update to the cart so that we can change the status and everything. And we're going to show a snack bar here that they have been checked in, and then we're going to navigate back. So that's all. That's what's going to happen when they click the appointment. Now if they click back over here that they're walking in, now we can do, they're an existing customer, they'll be able to type in their first name and last name as an existing customer. And once they type their name in, I'm using I created another function because I think it was Ticketmaster that has Fuzzy Wuzzy for Python that was fantastic. So I found somebody, I was going to port it myself, but then somebody had already ported it. So it's actually a search feature. I love it because, like in Python, same here, you can set your score to as high as you want to be able to find the matches for you based off whatever query that you have trying to search for. So I really like that a lot better. So this is what I'm using here, is a Fuzzy Wuzzy for that. So once it does that, and it finds that, it really looks at all different types. And so once you select that, it's similar to what you've seen in the other one, where a person can from there select whatever service they want by the category. It's going to filter whatever they can do, like we've seen in the customer app. A lot of that functionality and functions are going to be the same here. You see I just copied over some of those functions. Is what we have in the customer app. So once they create that, again, you're going to see that customer now has checked in. It's a difference because this one has fields that are enabled if it's an appointment compared to if it's not. So that's a difference in size. So everything else as far as walking in and creating a new account is what you've seen in the customer app, so I won't go through that. And then all the functions are the same that I pulled from that, to lowercase, remove on white space, to get started day. The only thing here that we're doing that's not in the customer, I need to actually add to the customer app too, is creating the search screen for Fuzzy Wuzzy for the search. So I create a search screen. I have a particular field in the customer collection called search screen, and that's the only field that I'm searching for in this app. In this one, we're going to be searching for multiple fields, and I'll get into that next. So that's glad I seen that. So I need to update that on the other app. Put that in my notes right quick. And now I'm going to go through the actual POS system lastly, because this is the brains behind everything. So let's go through the POS system and see all the fun things that this thing do. This is a lot of work to create this. Now all of this is using the same database maybe as you already have figured out. So there's not a separate database, all three. That's why I said it's one complete system, because all of it is using the same collections for everything. So the POS system, as we get into that, has tons of pages that we'll be going through. So call the first page the check-in page. So the check-in page is going to show you, like I said, it's going to be a check-in using the grid view, listing all the different services that have checked in. So as you see, there's a lot of different fields that goes into this, a lot of different functions. So once we actually get into here and you have a customer ready, some of the most important things for the check-in part is some of the local state variables that has to be utilized to make this work good. So I have the Carcabine bull there. This is just for the cash drawer been set. If it haven't been set, then that has to be You can't go no farther until you set the casual for the day. Total cart services, add service index, check, I'll go through all this, but then combined cart is something I'm about to show next, and the cart total. All these things are going to be passed to the next page, but I set them here. And here's some of the things that are passed to the page. So whenever we are in here, we can do a lot of different things. If it's an appointment, we can click here to change the appointment status, and I'll go through that shortly. Let's do it real quick, because the change appointment page, when you do that, when you click on it, it's going to update the customer collection with the information about what was changed. So it's going to actually go through that and show that the status of the appointment is going to be changed based off of whichever field we choose. So this status will be appointment change status when it was updated. Then we're going to update the customer DOP. Total canceled appointment is going to be incremented by 1. So those are the main things with that. So, but let's say for instance there was a non-approved or no-show. Now this is going to add a couple other actions. These are all going to be the same, but just different ones. But then we're going to hit this cloud function here that going to send out an email to the customer. It's the biggest thing, to let them know that their appointment change was not approved, or if it was a no-show. So that's very important, and I guess it's something I needed to have go through on the customer's part, on the customer app when booking appointments. So I'm going to jump back over there, because we have a system set up to, based off of how many appointments that a person has canceled or no-show, that then it causes them to have to pay a deposit based off of that. So let me go back here. And so whenever this function here, I can't believe I missed that. The get deposit function, whenever they are booking an appointment in the customer app. So I'm going back here again. So when they book these appointments in the customer app, whenever they choose a service, if they require a deposit because of their history, it's going to be incremented. So if they have if they got a no-show, they pay 100% up front. But then for each one of the times that they have a non-approved cancellation, it goes up from 25, 50, 75 to 100%. So they're told that whenever they're booking the appointment. So that's what this one is for, category deposits. So once they're actually on this page, they're going to be told to, if they want to actually pay the deposit or not pay the deposit. If they don't want to pay the deposit, then they don't have to go no farther in the app, and it's going to take them right back to their profile page if they don't want to pay no more. And I can't fight everybody, because people, of course, go through and create crazy emails and everything else once they get to this point where they don't want to pay the deposit. I mean, I only have a handful of customers where I have to deal with that with, but it's definitely something that you have to deal with. So that's what that function does. So just wanted to go back to that real quick, because I definitely missed that one. But that's a very important function that we created to make sure that these customers that abuse the system, that they had to be penalized for it. So that's what that does. And so, like I said, those hit the cloud function. If they want to reschedule, we go through the reschedule, but I'm going to show you that all in one. The combined ticket is really important, because what it's going to do is a lot of people come in with different ones. So if we need to combine the tickets, that's how we'll do that there. So we'll check the box of all the tickets that are going to be combined, then choose who's going to be paying. Once you choose who's going to be paying, a function is going to run to show those tickets that are going to be combined. So I'll show you that combined ticket function because it's down here. All right, so here's a combined carts function. So what it's going to do is it's going to go through each carts and it's going to create a new cart document with the combined data for both those carts. The reason I'm doing that instead of just updating the one cart is because of reversal. It's just easier to reverse, delete that one new cart, and then reverse. Because whenever I create a combined ticket, I have a couple of fields, and one of those fields are if the cart is a combined cart, then it's going to show in the fields that I have set for that. Complete status will show combined cart, whereas if it's not a combined cart, it have like paid or waiting. So that's another reason why I do that, is that then when I reverse it, it does just the opposite for me. So it makes it a lot easier. So once a person actually comes up in here and they do the part of once we check a person out, we can change the customer name by searching for a new customer here. We can change the service by just choosing a different service, and it's going to update the price also and the cart totals instantly once all those things are changed. That was I'll show you that, but it's let me see, components. So we have various components here. So whenever we're going to do a customer search or a service search, so like I said, when we search that and we click on here and we finish doing that search, it's going to update the documents with the new information, update the service name in the main cards, then dismiss the bottom sheet. Okay, so that's what each one of these pretty much are going to do the same thing. Adding notes will be something that we can add notes to that particular service, and then once we save it, now the note is saved, so we can reference later. Now, if we want to delete, we delete that. So what that's going to do is actually delete the line document for that cart. So it's going to actually look for and delete the line document. So that's what that part is doing for that cart. Then it's going to recalculate the cart total by grabbing that's another custom function I have. Each time I do anything with deleting or adding services, this is a function that's going to run and recalculate those cart totals by grabbing the lines, each one of the line documents, and then updating the main cart with the totals that it's coming back with. Then we set the app state with that, so that the app state is what's showing here for those totals. So then if we add another service back in here, say for instance that, and we hit complete adding, now we can add the staff member, and then the totals have already been updated, because once we add a service, it's also doing a similar, where it's going to add a new line document to the sub collection for that particular cart by we passing in that cart, and then we're going through that same function that we went through before. Then we're going to update the app state. So once we actually, like I said, if I go back here and hit cancel, this is where I said that it makes it easier, because now when I hit cancel, hold on, make sure I'm clicking right on the cancel, my little floating action button that I love. So we have a bool that we set whenever we come over to this page to let us know if it's a combined cart or not. If it is a combined cart, we hit cancel. We just navigate back if it's not. But if it is, we're going to do the reverse combined cart. So that's what that's going to do for us here. I know we have some new features, and I think like the loop feature. So this has been done months ago, so before those features came out. So that's why I haven't tested those yet. But that's what that's doing there. So we can easily just undo that, and then as you see, we delete the cart that we don't need no more. But if we hit continue, a lot happened there. Once we actually go through and ready to set everything, one thing we've got to make sure of is that all the fields are set. So once we make sure all the fields are set, so like if I try to, if I add a service and I don't set the field and I hit this, it's going to tell me to add the staff to the line item. So that's what this is doing first. So there you see that. But then if it's not, we're going to update the collection, the ticket number. We're going to grab a ticket number because we increment it each time. Then we're going to add that ticket number to what we're going to send over to Stripe. So that's why that's there. So we're going to update all these fields inside of the cart document. So those are the fields we're going to update. Then we're going to, this other function here are all the service names. We're going to go through all the service names, and we're just going to create a screen from that. So that's what's going to show on their statement is that screen a service name. So kind of show you what that looks like. Thing don't move over there, so hold on. That's one of the things I hate about when Apple does that. There we go. Okay, you get the idea. But then from there, we're going to navigate to checkout, to where we're going to actually make the payment. So these are the fields that's going to be passed over to that. So let's go ahead and go to that page. I'm clicking that. Oh. All right, so once we're in this field, we can do a couple different things. We can go ahead and we can get a split payment. So some people want to pay with cash and card, cancel a transaction, which takes us back, charge a card through Stripe, or pay with cash or get change. So all these actions there have a lot of different features. Just go through, for instance, some of them. So if we hit charge card, we have tons of actions that we have to go through here through Stripe. So we're going to update the app state. I'll do that so I can know what to show different animations of, if I hit charge card, then you cannot choose all these other buttons have disappeared since that bull is now enabled. So now on the machine out here, we're actually using a Stripe terminal, actual machine. So we're gonna hit these API calls to make sure everything come back correctly from Stripe. And once we actually get back an approve or decline status, that's what's gonna show there. Now the reset machine it's actually gonna kill the transaction and let us know the terminal has been reset. So from there, we can, like I said, we can do other things. We can hit pay in full here, or we can hit cancel transaction. The split payment part is a lot because what the split payment does is it's creating another sub collection inside of the cart document for splitting the payment. So from there, it's going to create multiple documents. So for every cash, if we add cash, it's going to decrease the cash. It's going to decrease the amount that we're going to add. We're going to confirm that and make sure that we have that correct. So now we know how much we got left to pay. But it's creating a document each time, and then we are recalculating that The charge is the same, except for now we're going to send over it as a split payment whenever we do that charge. So I want to show just how much of this we have to do. Let's see. All right, so I'm just showing you like the split payment. I have tons of functions. A lot of them before we had cloud functions available inside of there. So I have, I think, 14 cloud functions that I'm currently running for this setup right now, from sending push notifications as part of sending the email receipt. Get to that shortly. As we talked about earlier, cancellation email. And then some of these are if people create accounts and some of the fields are missing. A lot of these are actually for fields that are missing so that they are not, I don't get errors. So it's part of the learning process. Here is pretty intense because what it's going to go through is once we receive the webhook back from Stripe, this is what we're going to do is we are updating the main card if it's a split data. So what we're doing here, if it was a split payment, we are going through and making sure that we create the cart correctly for the documents for the split payment. And once we have all of that, then we'll finally update the main cart, but we'll do this for every split payment that goes through. So that's just one of the many functions, cloud functions that I have there. So that's what happens there. So let me cancel this. All this is live, by the way, so just so you know, we are doing all of this live, but I really say that because like now if a customer checks out and they had an appointment previously, all of that is bypassed. But also if you hold down one of the appointments, you'll be able to go back to that screen we seen earlier. If it's an existing appointment, it'll give you that options. Then we have the chat page where we're chatting with customers real time. The customer search page, like I said earlier, that the function that we're using with this that fuzzy wuzzy that we created as far as the search goes, I'm passing in the search field. So based off of the choice chip, if I'm passing in phone, it's going to search the phone number inside the customer collection, or the email if I pass in the email. So that's what that's doing there. So once it actually searches for a customer, even if I put email, like about this, as long as my name is in the email. So if I put And so from there, you can click on the customer. You can actually see what they have spent at the salon. You can enable different features that they may have and things of that nature, so that you can actually see like who your top customers are. that transaction history, appointment history is here, so you'll be able to go through that. Any messages we had with them, you'll be able to see there. So that's pretty nice. So there are more pages. These pages are pages that similar to what Square had, where you can go through and look more. As you can see recent. Sorry, misspelling. Appointment activity here, where we can see all the most recent appointments is sorted by whoever just booked the most recent appointment. So that's what that's going to show, when it was created, who they booked it with. I like having the IDs so that when I'm going into Firebase, I can just copy the ID. So that's why I like having the IDs and put that in the field. Tips, it'll just go through and show you like the tips for the day, so that ones can like go through and see, or if they want to see for the week, they can click here and it will. And that's actually a pretty extensive function. So I actually want to show that. Because that function is this function here is pretty extensive, where we are, because of how they sending back the tips from Stripe. So it's going through the carts, and I have a field there, cart tips, and then we calculating all the carts tips based off of the employee, but then also making sure that the tips are correct for as the day goes. So that's why it's important that when we pass that function in, that we're looking at the days, transaction times, and everything, so that's how that function is working, to be able to get all the tips from the cart from that day. And then we can either go daily or weekly based off that function. Hours closed is pretty self-explanatory. Reports shows all, since this is live data, but it shows all the salon's reports for the day, months and years. The cash drawer, same thing. I'm going to show you what the current cash drawer totals are. Daily transactions will show like the transactions for the day. I still got a couple of fields I gotta still add, like the service name and staff. So glad I seen that. But it's gonna go through and show you that. So it's like, so if you just want to see for the day how many transactions was done, you'll be able to quickly do that. To do is to add like, where you can reverse transactions. So those are a lot of different things that this system is doing. A lot of other functions that you see here that I have implemented, so that we can really have a nice system that we're utilizing here. This is actually the calculate tips one here. So I hope you guys enjoyed all this. Hopefully I didn't want to bore you too much with the rest of these smaller functions and what they're doing, but as you can see, there's tons of them. I love Flutterflow, and I love this system, and appreciate all the hard work that went into it, and thanks for allowing me to do this for the Flutterflow Challenge.